अमेरिकी भारतीय बिजनेसमैन फ्रैंक इस्लाम का कहना है कि किसी भी देश को आगे बढ़ने के लिए जरूरी है कि वो सबको साथ लेकर चले। गोन्यूज से बातचीत के दौरान फ्रैंक इस्लाम भारत अमेरिकी रिश्तों, लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों, सहिष्णुता और अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी जैसे तमाम मुद्दों पर खुलकर बात की।
First of all, there's a bipartisan support in the House and the Senate for India, regardless who is in the White House. President Obama said that the U.S.-India relationship will be the defining moment of the 21st century. So there has been some hiccup under this administration, the Trump administration, which is true with any foreign policy. There have been some discussions on trade and also the tariff which he imposed, which I don't think is going to affect that much to India. But if you look at the trade has increased considerably. And I hope that by 2030, my hope is, my expectation is that it will be close to $1 trillion, which is important. The value that binds us together with the United States and India, both have a democratic country, and also in a democracy, freedom of press is critical and vital to sustain democracy. And India has the democracy, which is the largest democracy in the world. The United States is the oldest democracy in the world. So there are a lot of things, ideals and ideas that binds us together in the values, because it's based on mutual interests and shared values. And then the last thing is that the Indian Americans play a very important role in politics. This administration, it is still being defined. What they're trying to do in terms of foreign policy, they probably is still being defined. But I have met President Trump, a couple of times. And I want him to be successful because his success is important for all of us in America. But his comments and his values, his character and conscience did not reflect America that I know of. And especially the immigrants, especially the people of South Asian origin, who have made enormous contributions and who have had a great accomplishment in America, and they will continue to make their mark in America. His comments about the immigrants and the shitholes from the Latin American countries and the Caribbean is depressing, and this is not the America that I know of. What is important for President Trump to do is to bring people together. He has a little bit of challenges, and if you look at it, his own two wives are immigrants. They came from East Europe, and his mother was an immigrant from Scotland. So sometimes I feel like it's a double standard on his part. He's trying to please some conservative Republicans, but he needs to expand his base in order for him to win the press. In order for him to win the next re-election. And as the thing stands, I'm not really sure if he will. India can learn from America, and I wanted to talk about that, and I will do that to my speech this evening, is to provide the equal opportunity and inclusive economic mobility to all the people, regardless of race, religion, caste, and creed. And especially the minorities, who should be active participants in the shared economic prosperity in India. And they cannot be held back. If they are held back, India cannot succeed. We also want to redouble our effort in terms of the hatred and bigotry that has become very divisive. We need to become more inclusive and tolerant society, because if the minority, which is about close to 400 million people, if they succeed, India succeed and the world succeed, and they can pretty much change the landscape of not only India but the world. Pankaj, I don't live in this country, but I would say it's the fault on both sides. That's my personal view. I think that the mullahs are very divisive. mean, they should. Prime Minister Modi is a prime minister of all the people, regardless of color, creed, religion, race, background, belief. And his success is very important to India and to the community, to the people who live in this nation. I would say also there are certain elements in the other part of the party, which is BJP, whatever you call them, that they have become such a divisive, and in some cases, and we need to make sure that they need to understand that they have to bring the people together rather than becoming a divisive, and that's something that the both community, the Indian Muslims needs to learn and the Hindus need to learn. How do we build the bridges of the understanding and cooperation, because we are in this together. But I would also say, Pankaj, there are thousands and millions of Hindus and Muslims are getting along, living side by side. They have lived here for thousands of years together, and there is a feeling that we are in this together. There are certain elements that have become more divisive, and I would like them to say to the audience, if they're watching it, let us weave into the fabric of our nation that we are in this together. Together we can do a better job to help shape a better future for America, and not America, but India and America too. And I also want to say one more thing about madrasa. Madrasa needs to become a more modern and also needs to produce the 21st century workforce. India is a democratic country. There have been some hiccup in freedom of press and the media, freedom of media. There were some journalists that have been killed, but that does not reflect the value in India. And the journalist needs to separate the fact from the fictions. They have to talk about the success and failures of the peoples, and they have to be active participant in India's democracy and its values. And in some cases it does lag, but I have a high regard for India's democracy and India's values in terms of freedom of press. There have been some hiccups, but I think I strongly believe and firmly believe that India could be global beacon of hope and democracy, not just India but around the globe. Now, Pankaj, I do believe that the government should become a partner, active participant in making sure that India's diverse culture, multi-faith, multicultural society remains as a beacon for around the world, to be a model for everybody else in the world. So, but they don't need to be. They become sort of a divisive a little bit, because and that doesn't bring the people together. Not too long ago, Pankaj, I saw a column that a friend of mine, not a column, something about the Jordan Basu, who's a good friend of mine, that I write columns for INS, sent me something about Aligarh Muslim University. Somebody from Agra, MP, said that's the place for the terrorism. It is not. It is so the ignorance does not know the boundary. We need to be fighting together ignorance, poverty, hunger, and disease in this country. I love India because the fact that it is the internet, because it's not just a ritual and culture, but I was born here, and also it is an international beacon of peace and hope and aspirations and dream and democracy. There's no question about that. So my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they all have been associated with Aligarh Muslim University. And I have been associated and all my siblings went to school at Aligarh. Aligarh shaped India, and India shaped Aligarh. Its principles have always guided me throughout my life. And the values that I cherish and nourish and nurture from Aligarh Muslim University have been the guiding light, as far as I'm concerned, throughout my adult careers. And what's best in me, I owe to Aligarh Muslim University. So the Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University approached me when I came here with President Obama to celebrate India's Republic Day. And his first comments were, and my wife Debbie was with me, that you have to produce the next generation of frank Islam. And the way to do that is to have a building that's named after you, which is Frank and Debbie Islam Management Complex. They can produce the students, the graduate, they can go out and make a difference. I was born in Azamgarh, but I lived in Varanasi also, because the city is a very tolerant society. And that city still lingers in my mind, and it has never faded away from my memory. This is with both places, Azamgarh as well as Varanasi. This is where I learned how to work with the people of other faiths, and in order for us to bring the people together, and also give them a dignity and respect to other faith, to other people, and you should treat people the way you want to be treated. So so that's the first value that I learned from those two cities. The second thing that I learned is the important thing is the city itself where my ancestors were born, and I'm going to be going there to open or inaugurate Frank and Debbie Islam Health Clinic, and that's the place I was born, and that's where my ancestors stood. That's where my ancestors are buried beneath the beloved, not the city, but I will say village. So those are the values that had been embedded, instilled in my heart and soul, and that I still believe in it. And that's the reason we also established in the memory of my mother a girls' school, because the girls, especially the Muslim community, they're treated like an island. They need to become we should not ignore them. They should not be confined to four walls. They should become a part of the 21st century workforce. So I want them to get a job. Education will be the powerful equalizer for women to get out of the poverty, because they're trapped in poverty, so they can educate when they become a woman, they can educate their children, and this cycle will not be broken. So those are the important aspects of the values of the Azamgarh, and I want them to know, take care of those girls. Just do not get them married when they're only 17, 18 years old. Exploit the fullest potential, because the girls and women in our society are very, very important. This 21st century that I believe, Pankaj, will be the century for the woman.